Hi, I'm Aaron McManus, and you were listening to the Battle Ready podcast. I'm here with my dad, Erwin McManus. It's good to be here today.
I am so excited.
Today's a good day.
It is. It's a great day.
It's the launch of the Art of Communication Masterclass course, deep dive, intensive, whatever you want to call it. This is the day. This is launch day.
And it's taken a long time to get here.
It has. We've poured a lot of time into this thing.
We've been working for the last couple of years on this specific project, and I've been working for 40 years to develop the content that I'll be sharing with the world.
The first time you shared this content with me, I was in your house about 10 years ago in your living room, and you took 10 young communicators and that were very raw and very untrained.
That's right.
And kind of helped break down their communication style. And then I think that's where you came up with this content, was for that specific session.
I'd forgotten that I had done that.
Yeah, I remember.
And I used to invite people in my home, and we would go over for a series of like 3 months, and we'd focus on the art of communication. We'd talk about the essence, the skills, how to refine the process, about the details, about, we're both big picture and granular, and then helping each person go through the painful process of developing their own communication skills.
Yeah, it was brutal. I was 23 or 24 at the time, and it was really, really tough. But it was great. It was a great process. The content was phenomenal. I think it was harder doing it in the room live with people. What I like about the way we've done it now is that you really go in depth. You really go into the practical. You really go into not just the theory of communication, but how to apply it into connecting with people in every room that you step into.
Yeah, well, for me, what's exciting is, over the years when I had opportunities, I used to do tours in arenas, 20, 30,000 people in each stadium. And I knew that when I was speaking in those stadiums, that the best I could do would be inspire people to life change.
Right.
But I wasn't able to give them a process that would allow that change to really become integrated into their life. It's the same way when you speak, you can inspire people to become better speakers. You can inspire people to want to develop their communication skills. But without a process, without something that's more intensive, you don't really see the kind of results that you'd hope for. And 30 minutes of a message, I can inspire you. But with 6 hours of intensive training, I think I can actually help develop you and grow you and mentor you into becoming the kind of communicator that you long to become.
So can we talk about, one, why is this so important to you?
It's important to me on a lot of levels, but one is really connected to my faith.
Okay.
And I feel like I have entrusted to me the most important message in the world, the message of hope and life and freedom and forgiveness that comes in Jesus. And I didn't grow up in the church, and so listening to people speak was a whole new experience for me. I didn't know that was a thing. And early on in my faith, there were at least a handful of extraordinary communicators that had a great impact on my life, and I listened to tons of them. This is back in the cassette tape days, and I would order endless amounts of cassette tapes, and I would listen to all these speakers from around the country that were the best at their craft, and I would absorb their learning. Not through osmosis, really, because it was more than that. I was studying them, learning them. And I didn't realize that what I was actually doing is I was sending myself to a high-level school to become the best communicator I could become. And then as I started listening to people teach the Bible, preach the Bible, and talk about Jesus, I felt like the quality of preaching didn't match the value of the message. And it really bothered me. And I felt like there were a lot of really well-intended, good, well-meaning pastors and speakers, but that you go to seminary and you spend all these years studying the Bible or studying things contextualized around the Bible, but really one of the things you should really be learning is how to communicate effectively. And the part of the problem is that it's not just about learning skills in communication, it's learning how to understand an audience, how to connect to that audience, how to be relevant, how to speak for life change. And so I just felt, for me, it was really important, because if you're going to see the movement of Jesus flourish the way I believe it must, because people desperately need what Jesus has to offer, the message and the way it's communicated needs to match the importance of that message.
So it's crazy that you brought up seminary. That is where kind of you really began to, I guess, speak more on a platform or learn, not really a platform, but in the class and have communication classes. I remember my freshman year of college and I was in a communication class, and honestly, I think I blacked out. I have no idea what I learned, but I remember dreading every single time I was about to walk up onto that platform or walk up in front of the class. And now, I've been your son for 33 years, almost 34, and really kind of taking more of a deep dive into understanding how you communicate the last 10 years, 9 years. It's been 9 years since I moved back from New York, which is crazy. And the way that you break it down, I say this in two parts. The way that you break down communication, I think, is you talk about the foundation and the theory of communication and your theory of communication. Right. Not just how to communicate, but the way to use the things, your strengths and your weaknesses for you in a communication aspect. Like when you're communicating with the room, this is how you can use your passion. Right. This is how you can use your story. This is how you can use your life experience into communicating effectively with the people around you, and the importance of those different elements that you break down. Second, I was going to say, one of the things that just drove me crazy in university, and I think one of the things that drove me away from it, was I was just so bored listening to people that just didn't do what they were talking about. Or maybe they did. Maybe they worked in film or maybe they worked in art to some degree, but it just wasn't very interesting. Bless their hearts. They're doing the best they can. I wish they had your communication class. And I look at it, I remember there was a teacher named Tom Shadyac who was a big director, and he created a really special class at Pepperdine at the time. And I told you. I remember that. Yeah, and you guys ended up becoming friends later. But it changed my life because it was someone who was actively he had actually just retired. He did Ace Venturas and all of these Jim Carrey movies, The Mask, and he
Patch
did
Adams. And
he did all the Ace Venturas, and then he did what was the really, really big one? Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, Bruce Almighty. Yeah.
That was kind of his last one. And then he started teaching at this school because he lived nearby, and it changed my life. And I was like, I wish that every class could have been from someone who cared so much about their craft. And that's what I see in this course.
Yeah. But I remember you called me after your first day a little bit unnerved. Yeah. You said, Dad, I don't know if I'm going to stay in this class. I think I may need to drop it. And I said, why? And he said, because he's the first person that when he speaks, it gets to me and it makes me nervous. I'm wondering if something is going on wrong here. Yeah. And I told, no, you have to stay then. If he's getting to you, then you need to stay in and lean in on that.
Yeah. And here's my thing with this class is that this class is what I experienced in that class with Tom. You actively connect with the audience. You are engaging in where they're at and helping them move from point A to point B to point C to point D in the way that you do things. And so when people ask, the price point is specific.
Yeah, it is.
The value of it, we valued it at $3,000. We're offering it at $2,000 until Tuesday.
Well, technically $1,995.
But and then essentially beyond the next, I guess from Friday to Tuesday, that's when we're giving this price break. And after that, it's going to $3,000. Right. And then that's where it will stay. And there's payment plans. You can pay in 4 parts, or you can pay all together. And I know that it can be a mountain to climb or a hurdle to jump for some people. But the thing that I say is that you are worth the investment. Yeah. That this investment is special, and you are worth the investment in yourself. And if you're someone and you're like, my boss needs this, or I need this, my pastor needs this, my teacher might need this. Maybe you gift them. I don't know how that'll go if you're in college and you're like, hey, professor, I think you might need to watch The Art of Communication.
And even though a huge part of what motivated me was increasing the level of communication in the faith environment, the master class isn't geared toward the faith environment. It's just geared toward communication in general. It could be in any domain. It could be
your relationships.
Yeah, it could be in the business world as an entrepreneur, as a speaker, as a teacher, as an actor. Because really it's about finding your voice and learning how to connect that voice to the audience and to the listener in a life-changing way.
So you don't need a platform to communicate at a high level.
Well, everyone communicates every single day.
Right.
And in many ways, the ceiling of your influence is based on your ability to communicate effectively. And so I think communication is probably the singular essential that humans need to develop. And it's absolutely critical if you're a boss, if you're a team leader. And yes, I've had always have people who ask, about the price of things. And I go, look, what we give you on Sunday through Mosaic, it goes to you free. And everything.
You've been giving away free content for almost 40 years.
Yeah, for over 40 years. And so that content is there for you. So if you say, I can't afford that, and I said, hey, don't feel bad about that. First of all, just get all the free content. Go to the Mosaic app and get the messages. Go to the Battle Ready and get the podcast. We provide this free for you.
Yeah, go to the YouTube, listen to the talks, listen to the interviews, the Genius of Jesus, Battle Ready.
Yeah, there's
Sundays.
So much that we're providing for you for free. Just allow that to shape your life and grow in that. But at the same time, I know that there are high-level leaders. There are people who want to take their communication to a high level. And that requires a different level of investment. And frankly, I'm glad that you need to struggle or sacrifice to pay for this, because then if you do that, you will go through the 6.5 hours.
Right.
If you pay the value, you will value it.
Right.
And you will not only listen to it once, you'll listen to it 5 times or 10 times.
And it will actually change you.
Yeah, because you'll understand that what you're getting has intense value. So I kind of broke it down over my life, and I said, I'm charging you $50 for every year that I'm pouring into this material.
Right.
And believe me, I think my life is worth more than $50 a year.
Right.
And in the business sector, my friends are telling me, man, you're just charging way too little.
Yeah.
You're just incredibly undervaluing everything you're doing. And so it's all a spectrum, right? But I am going to create products that are going to be incredibly high value, because I'm going to take 40 years of learning and I'm going to condense them to accelerate your life. Here's the thing.
No, but you're taking 40 years of learning, and we're spending 2 years going through the content, making sure it's the right stuff.
Yeah. People are working hard to make this
Yes.
product as high quality as it is.
Yeah. This is not something we whipped up overnight.
No, and I think sometimes people forget that it actually takes a lot of investment to bring a product like this to other people. But time is the singular most important commodity in the world. When you actually think that money is the most important commodity, you've missed the priorities of life. And if I can accelerate someone's ability to communicate effectively, if I can accelerate someone's leadership capacity, if I can accelerate someone's ability to take an idea, take their vision, their values, and translating it to an audience, and I can help you do in 1 year what would have taken you 5 years to do, I'll help you do in 3 years what would have taken you 10 years to do. You've not just saved money, you've saved time. You actually moved into your future faster. And so one of the things I would say to people is like the idea that you should only do things that come to you easily, things that are free or things that are low cost, is a horrific framework for personal development. You have to make a decision that you are worth the investment, and then make the investment in yourself. The art of communication is the best that I can give you if you ask me, Erwin, mentor me and teach me how to communicate.
Yeah.
This is exactly what it'll take you through.
And I'm going to one-up you. This is the best communication course you're going to find in the world.
I actually do believe that.
I do believe that. One, because we're not salespeople. So if you're getting sold something that is, maybe I would say this. There are 3 people in the whole world I'd want to learn how to communicate from. Mm-hmm. You're one of them. Mm-hmm. And so I go, and that's in the entire world. Like on every single level, mm-hmm. and this is like the brilliance of it, right? Like we're talking about it's so cool too, because like you look at like some of the most incredible artists in the world, like Beyonce started mm-hmm. singing in church. You started your communication career speaking in the church.
Absolutely.
and is the thing that's continually refined you and developed you and built you. And we actually have an incredible clip of you preaching from seminary.
Please don't.
Yeah, we're doing it. We got to do it. We have to show, because I got to get your reaction. Is that okay? So we're going to show it real quick, and then I'm going to have you react, okay?
Okay, this is going to be utterly humiliating. Let's go.
My name is Erwin McManus, and I was born in El Salvador, Central America. And I've all the work and all my hopes. 6 minutes, okay. Well, what it comes down to is that the goal, I can relate to where he says, I'm weary of keeping it in. Indeed, I cannot. For each one of us, if God's really moved in your life, man, we got to just speak the word of God, because he saved us, he saved me, and I'm just excited. Praise God.
All right,
wait, no, I have to ask you a question.
I had just moved.
Where's that accent from?
Okay. This is what people don't know about me, that don't know me well, is I am a cultural chameleon.
Okay.
And I'm from El Salvador.
Okay.
So Spanish was my first language, and I spoke Spanish like a Spaniard. And
okay.
Moved to Miami, and I learned English, and then actually moved to also the Queens. And if I'm in New York, I sound like a New Yorker. If I'm in Miami, I sound like I'm from Miami. I remember going to the Northwest, to Portland, and within 2 days, I spoke like everyone there. I don't do it on purpose. It just happens. And what I've learned is people who are great at accents are great listeners. And by the way, it's one of the reasons I think I can actually teach communication, because I am a really good listener. And so I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina, and then in Chapel Hill. I went to University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and before that I went to Elon University. Without even being aware of it, I lost my Miami accent, and all of a sudden I had a North Carolina accent, and the way I talked back then was very different than I do now.
It's crazy.
And then I moved to Texas, and I picked up a different accent in Texas.
So this is, as a son, these are the moments where I cringe.
I'm sorry.
So
when I watched that video, I had no idea that I had a Southern accent.
Okay.
And then later I had a Texas accent, and then when I came to California, within a day. It wasn't even 2 days.
That's not true, because there's some videos of you preaching at Brady, the old church, and you had the accent still.
No, I don't think I had the accent. I had the language, but not the accent.
And that's a huge thing you talk about.
Yes,
is
I
the
do.
language, whether it's, I was talking about this with Eric. I was like,
Yeah.
you got to stop abbreviating everything in the business world. I don't understand. No one understands. You guys sound like you're playing Dungeons and Dragons for salespeople.
Right.
Like the same way the church has all of this Christianese language,
Yep.
businesses have the same thing. What is it about? I don't want to go too deep into it, because you talk about it on the communication course. But what is it about cultures that we develop our own slang, our own internal communication mechanism?
I mean, that one little clip there that will, haunt me forever. I grew up completely secular, outside of the church.
Right.
And here I am, and I am being, in a sense, molded as a communicator. And they somehow transmitted the entire language of religion. And I mean, I'm talking about getting saved and the word of God and all the language. And I'm saying it in a way because it's insider language, because I wanted to be an insider, wanted to belong. And so I'm learning all this language, and I think it's the right language. But what they were teaching me was making me irrelevant to the outside world. The way they were teaching me to communicate was going to make it impossible for me to be effective in communicating the message of Jesus with an unbelieving world. It's the same way in the business world. We get this insider language. We get this like tribal talk.
So what you're saying is that if you speak a certain specific language within only your culture and you watch this, you're not going to feel alienated. You're going to know there's hope that you can actually adjust and learn a new language, a more human language.
Because I haven't just spent the last 40 years learning how to communicate in terms of structures, approaches, systems, processes. I spent the last 40 years understanding language so that you could develop a mastery of language so that the words connect the most people possible. The words create bridges, not walls, between you and other people.
Okay. We're done. This is a mini episode that was just 18 minutes, but we're going to get to this next installment, okay? So I picked up his iPhone for the next 72 hours. So from the moment this new course launches to the price increase 4 days later.
So from 9 a.m. Friday morning.
Yes. Until Tuesday, March 29th, I have activated this phone, and you can call me, you can text me, you can FaceTime me at any given moment over the next 72 hours. If you call me late at night, it will be on sleep mode. I'll call you back in the morning.
All right. So what's that number again, Tess?
It is 213-880-4975.
Okay, so that's 213-880-4975.
And that's old school, legit LA number 213.
That's 5-star customer service, baby. I can't promise you to have like an in-depth conversation, but we can have like a few minutes.
So what do you want them calling you about?
If you have questions about the price, you have questions about the communication course, you have questions about any of it, just give me a call, give me a FaceTime, give me a text.
Okay. Do not call him to ask for a scholarship.
No, but if you want to ask why the price is the price, hopefully you rewind this podcast because we explain it. But I'll talk to you. Mm-hmm. We want to make it so easy for you to access the benefits of this course.
Yeah, and what I would say is, if you're a pastor, have your church put it in the budget. I mean, investing in you as a communicator. This is the critical skill that you need to lead your congregation and to transmit the truths of the scriptures into people's lives. I don't know how in the world this is not a good investment for your churches and as a speaker.
Right.
And if you're developing speakers, that's the investment. If you want to be on a platform, I talk to a lot of people in the entrepreneurial world, in the business world, and they just openly say, I want to be the greatest communicator in the world.
Right.
In fact, quite a few of my friends have said, I want to be the greatest communicator in the world. Well, if you want to be the greatest communicator in the world, that means you'll be putting in the most work of anyone in the world. You will not be the best in the world at anything if you're not doing the most work. The person who puts in the work is strangely enough the person who then later is seen as having the most talent.
So pastors specifically, because I know a lot of our audience comes from the faith space, but also business leaders.
Yep.
If you have or you run a sales team, you need to get this course and get it to your sales people because one, they can sell, but can they communicate?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
It's both and. It teaches you so many valuable tools. And like everyone I know that sells, they're always investing in their ability by taking these little courses or jumping on different seminars. Yeah. They understand that their bottom line is directly affected by their ability to communicate and their ability to be effective with communication to the other person. So call me. The name of this episode is going to be my phone number.
That's awesome. Oh, and by the way, for everyone who purchases the Art of Communication before Tuesday's deadline,
right,
I will be doing a live Zoom experience with everyone who purchased for about a 1 hour or so communication course.
Okay, so you're going to do a couple of things. You're doing a 1 hour Q&A on Zoom for everybody who bought the course.
So if you have your questions, you send them in.
Yes, on Zoom live. It'll be amazing. There'll be an incredible interaction. And then you're also doing something really specific for pastors. You were going to kind of give them ideas for their Easter message.
Yeah, I just know that having done this for 3-4 decades, sometimes the hardest thing in the world is to be fresh on Easter. I mean, that's the day you need to be most fresh. And so I just thought I would take some of the verses from the scriptures that I think inspire me for Easter and just give you the ideas and let you do with them what you want. Just want to sort of seed your own creativity and imagination as you prepare for Easter.
And then one thing we're talking about doing that I think we have to do, this, is you're going to take cultural moments and you're going to break down their ability to communicate. I want to talk about when Kanye West took the mic from Taylor Swift. like step number 1, don't drink Hennessy before you go up on stage.
Or you see, there you go. You should be teaching your own course.
But I want to see what you would say.
And,
okay. Maybe we could even have someone submit a message or a moment of communication and we can kind of break it down. And have a gladiator moment.
But if you're listening and you do that, I will be ruthless.
Yeah, you're not going to, it's not.
There's no point in doing that if you don't dissect it in a way that really is helpful, not just to you, but to everyone listening.
And then everyone gets to watch this bloodbath on Zoom.
It's fun.
I hope you don't pick me. Okay, we're going to wrap this episode up. Check out, give me a call. Talk to you guys
soon. Here we go. Art of Communication. Come on, guys. Let's dive in. And if you are a person of faith, let us become the greatest communicators in the world. I want us to be setting the pace, paving the way. I want politicians and entrepreneurs and business people, I want them going to the church because the church has the best communicators on the planet. And not just maybe at first to hear the message, but to figure out how in the world did these individuals develop such an extraordinary talent. And I just want us to have the greatest communicators on the planet. And if you're listening right now, and if you're committed to being the best communicator that you can possibly become, then this investment, it's a no-brainer.
We're wrapping this up. I love you so much. Thank you
Love you
guys
too.
for listening. This is a quick one, but give me a call. We can finish the episode live on, I don't know, FaceTime. Talk to you guys soon. Rate and review this podcast. Leave a comment. Thank you guys for honestly going on this journey with us each and every week. We were really grateful. All right. Love you, Dad.
Love you too.